One of Magic's top deck builders hit #1 Mythic this week using IZZET Transmogrify in Historic. But can we make IZZET Transmogrify work in Explorer? IZZET Transmogrify. Welcome to the Attic. Manadad here. This is the channel where we play what's good in Magic, mostly on Arena. Today we're going to be playing Explorer, aka Pioneer Light. So these cards will all work in Pioneer, and it is based. I'll link in the deck. I'll link the deck list, this deck list in the description. I'll also link the deck list for the Historic deck that hit #1. That this guy named Alth used to hit #1 Mythic this week, but I looked at that list. I didn't really want to play Historic. It's a full One Ring and Bowmaster and all the craziness that's going on there. I wanted to see, is this actually an approach that could work in Explorer? And I think it actually might from some testing. So we're going to take it out onto the ladder and we're going to try it out. So let's take a look at what we're doing today. I'm calling this part of my series called Uphill Battles because we are trying to pull off something that's a little bit difficult. Basically, what we're going to try to do is use Transmogrify. Now, normally in Explorer and Pioneer, you're using Creativity, Indomitable Creativity, which I have one of in the sideboard, which destroys artifacts or creatures, and then you can put some stuff into play using that. But we're going to use Transmogrify. It's easier to cast, obviously, only one red pip, and it doesn't hit artifacts, but can on turn 4, I think fairly reliably get us an Atraxa on the battlefield. So when we do that, we're going to refill our hand, hopefully, and take over the game with a Flying Vigilance, Death Touch, Lifelink 7/7. If you don't know what Atraxa does, when it enters, you're going to look at the top 10 cards of your library. For each card type, you can put a card of that type from among the revealed cards into your hand. Almost always going to hit land and instant, and I kind of messed with the distribution of sorceries. This should not be in here, actually. Mystical Dispute. Adios. And we'll put in one more Impulse. Okay, so what did I do here? I added Moonsnare Prototype because there's a lot of cards we don't get from Historic, so we kind of had to fill in. But we do have Transmogrify, we do have Atraxa. We don't have the new spell that makes a 1/1 Amass token, but we do have a counter spell that makes a 2/2 zombie creature. So this is one of the best ways to make a token in our deck. We've also got one of Satyr's Cunning, and we've also got one Invasion of Kaladesh, which is going to make a 1/1 Thopter, and one Invasion of Segovia, which is going to make 2 1/1 Blue Krakens. We can also transform our own Mutavault. We've also got a Mirax that can make tokens. We've also got Sokenzan that can make tokens. So we're going to make those tokens. We're going to cast Transmogrify on them, and we're going to get an Atraxa. In the meantime, we're going to try to counter or combat most things opponents are doing. So we've got 4 of Make Disappear, 4 of Flip the Switch. We've got a couple Prismari commands. I like Silver Scrutiny because we can play this at flash speed, but it is a sorcery for drawing off of Atraxa. So Satyr's Cunning is a sorcery. Silver Scrutiny is a sorcery. Otherwise, Volcanic Spite, this is actually a very important card in the deck because if we draw one of our Atraxas, we want to be able to put it back into the library. So being able to deal 3 damage to a creature or planeswalker or battle, we do have a couple battles, is very useful, and we're going to be able to put a card back. Otherwise, I also added a Soul Guide Lantern, just one of fun of, but maybe we can wreck a Greasefang deck or something with it. And other than that, a couple impulses for a little bit more help finding the Transmogrify. So between the Silver Scrutinies, the impulses, hopefully we'll find the Transmogrify. We do have one Invasion of Arcavios, which lets us search our library graveyard or outside the game for an instant or sorcery card. So be sure if you're in best of 1, you arrange your sideboard so you can get some instants and sorceries. I got Lithomantic Barrage, a Strangle, Pithing Needle, a Negate, Brotherhoods, and an Indomitable Creativity as sort of like backup copy of Transmogrify there with Arcavios. That is the deck. We've got 4 Mutavaults. This was Alth's big insight that if you're not running Indomitable Creativity, you don't need the heavy red pip. You can run a mana base with more colorless lands, and that lets you get Mutavault. We're running a ton of lands, so we want to be able to hit that 4th land drop on turn 4. So stick around to the very end of the video. I'll give you the win rate info. People know I'm giving away packs when I hit 500 subs, so help out with that. And with that, let's see if we can pull off transmogrifying Atraxa. Attempting to transmogrify tokens into Atraxa Grand Unifier. Up against 13th Warrior. 2-land hand, but we do have transmogrify and flip the switch, so we'll just rely on our deck being heavy on lands. Opponent is going to go first, which is also a bit rough. I'm wondering if we play Stormcarved Coast turn 1. We don't have a turn 1 play. That way we can hold up Make Disappear. Any moment, opponent, you can decide whether you're going to mulligan here. Okay, they just took their time keeping. And what do we get off the top? We get another Spire Bluff Canal, so we can save Stormcarved Coast for turn 3. These come into the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or fewer. Which means you can still play them untapped on turn 3, but just best to get them out of hand. And I'll pass the turn. Looks like they have some kind of instant something. This could be Bant control. Can you give me anything to counter, opponent? Doesn't look like it. Oh, Selfless Spirit. Possibly just a Spirits deck. Another flip the switch. We do need to get that 4th land. Hopefully they tap out here. We can flip the switch whatever they play. Spirits tends to play at instant speed, though. For example. That's a tap land. I think maybe just another impulse here. We do hit our 4th land. Don't have anything to transmogrify, though. So I guess we're going to pass the turn. Opponent's got something instant speed. They don't play it. Gonna do the Spectral Sailor beatdowns. I'll impulse again. As long as we're doing this, we'll get the Mutavault or the Mirex. Thinking the Mirex against this opponent here. Okay, they've tapped out now. Let's kill this. They did get to draw a card off of it. Put the Soul Guide Lantern back. Bant Spirits. Oh, what you gonna do? What you gonna do against me now? I wanna flip the switch. Pass the turn. Are they going to flash something in? They're going to go for Rattle Chains. This is good. We got 6 mana here, so even if they put the counter spell on it, we can counter their Spell Queller. And we get 2 zombies. We do need them to pretty much go shields down before we can Transmogrify. I think once we get an Atraxa on the board, okay. Well, we got Transmogrify backed up by Make Disappear, so I think, depending on what they hit on Collected Company here, we'd be in good shape. Mausoleum Wanderer. What are they going to take out of the graveyard? Let's go for it. Yes, I do want to hit the zombie. Do you have a counterspell opponent? So if they had Spell Queller in hand... Okay, so we can get a number of cards. An opponent, he's the writing on the wall. Atraxa win. Okay, up against Umemiwan. We don't have Transmogrify. It's a Gigantha deck. I guess we'll keep it and just see what we can do. Little Landlight also. We're not worried about Thoughtseize here. Probably take Make Disappear. Wonder if we could run Gigantha. Riven Reef. They've got a Witch's Oven, so it's going to be Cat Oven. There it is. Well, we got Transmogrify. Probably do need to get a land here. And we draw a Transmogrify. Interesting. Volcanic Spite. Might have been worth just trying to... Well, they'll sacrifice the cat no matter what we do, so... Save this for their... Oh my goodness, another oven? This is going to be a long, boring game. I guess I won't be playing this one first. Yemeni. They pass the turn. Cat. Cat came back the very next day. Oh, they didn't sack it again. Have a little bit of mercy on us. We want to be able to flip the switch on them. Problem is they could just sit back and not play anything and win the game. I guess we can Invasion of Segovia at some point. They buy Gigantha of all things. Okay. Let's invade Segovia. Hopefully they can't kill 2 tokens next turn. We might have wanted to wait until we had 5 lands so we could Volcanic Spite. Okay, they got Fatal Push, sure. Uh-huh. Can I block this? Oh, okay. They don't know we're up to transmogrify shenanigans here. Okay, there's the Mayhem Devil. We will be volcanic spiting that for sure. And we can hold up, flip the switch. They eat it with the oven. Sure. We're down to 11. Atraxa could stabilize this pretty well, though. Let's hope they try to cast Gigantha. They do not. Okay, well, time to power up the Mutavault and see if they don't have instant speed removal. Their last two cards. If they do, that's a instant concede. Atraxa in hand, but we do have Volcanic Spite to put it back in the deck, so only 2 lands again. I think I'm running 27, 28 lands here. I don't know why I'm getting so few lands in these opening hands. Kartoffel. Guess we'll play a Moonsnare prototype. Throw them off. Spire Bluff Canal. Storm Giants looks like a control deck, so this might not be our afternoon here. I mean, also, like, look at these sleeves. That's a control player if we ever saw one. They have Impulse. Play a creature, please. Fable of the Mirrorbreaker, thank you. Put a card into the library, yes. We have no way to cast Atraxa. Oh, good. Flip the switch. This could work, depending on what opponent's up to. If we can flip the switch on whatever they play here, and then there'll be shields, and hopefully that puts some shields down and we can transmogrify and get the Atraxa win. They lose the Spike Field Hazard. That's probably good for us, even though this is a 2/2. Storm, Carved Coast. Another Fable. Perfect. And I feel like we got to go for it. Atraxa. We'll get a Make Disappear, I think. And Riverglide Pathways. We only get 2 cards. Not the best hit off Atraxa. Now we have to hope opponent doesn't have anything to deal with it. Guess if they put it back in our hand, now we have Volcanic Spite. Hit you for 7. Okay, so far so good. like where we're sitting here. They're going to creativity. Let's flip the switch on that. Nice try. They're going to fiery impulse that. I think I'm okay with that. The fiery impulse is one of the cards I cut. I just found it wasn't like hitting that many things that it needed to hit. I'll just end the turn. We could have played Arcavios and held up Make Disappear thanks to the prototype. But yeah. Okay. Opponent didn't wait around to see if we had an answer. Oh, did we have fun? Oh yeah. Revenge, sweet revenge. 2 back-to-back creativity games, and we win the second one. Okay. We do have Flip the Switch. We have Impulse to help us find the Transmogrify. 3 lands. Seems good to me. We'll go with the Lava Glide pathway. Most likely some kind of Phoenix deck. Let's see. Would you like to counter my Impulse? Oh, and we get Transmogrify. Okay, okay, we're right on target here. Put that Mutavault down. Just play a spell next turn, opponent. Oh, don't be like that. We'll draw 2, discard 2, and we will create a treasure token. They might be tempted to counterspell it there. They do. Make disappear. 1 make disappear out of the hand. Ooh, okay. Atraxa. One of our 2 Atraxas is now in our hand. Not good. Pass the turn. So if they don't play anything again, we can Sokenzen, make 2 tokens. If they do play something, we'd flip the switch. Don't get a land. That's kind of annoying. I just want to wait. We kind of need them to tap out. Got essentially 2 dead cards in hand here. Okay. Still not great. We can try to use Invasion of Arcavios to draw out another counterspell. Chances are when they're sitting on 6 cards there. Does it resolve, opponent? They divide by 0. Gonna go learn. might be worth considering for our deck. What are they getting from their sideboardy? From your sideboard, they get Teachings of the Archaics. So doesn't do anything till we have more cards in hand than they do. They're a very disciplined opponent. They're not doing anything to get to our 1/1s. Okay, there's the Gear Hulk. That to me says they probably don't have another counterspell. Could be wrong. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Would you care to tap out any more, opponent? Ooh, I would love to have protection to cast this Transmogrify. Need 2 more mana. Be holding up Flip the Switch. Draw, make disappear. They hit for 5. Impulse. Impulse for a land. I guess it doesn't matter if it enters tapped. Pass the turn. Gonna go for something here now. This is gonna help them get more counter spells though. They're dumping lands, yeah. I think we'll try to Volcanic Spite that 2/2. No free treasures, please. They let it go through. And here comes the Torrential Gear Hulk. Aha. Pay 2 life, because we need it. We can get into damage first. Moment of truth, everyone. Do they have more than one counterspell? Fiery Impulse. Oof. Okay. I think that probably does us. Okay, they have a Volcanic Spite too. Well, we were probably never going to be able to win unless they tapped out. An opponent wisely played around the tapping out. Maybe I'm not the best pilot of this deck. Ooh. Stern lesson, sure. Well, we can draw a, and now there are at least 2 wasps, I see, here in the attic. So we need to draw Transmogrify off the top and them to have nothing. What do we get? Or am I going on wasp killing duty? I'm going on wasp killing duty. Better luck in the next game. We can Scythe of Osiris. Opponent is going first again. I can't wait to see the stats on play draw for this deck. I wonder if we've only been on the play like 2 times, and those are our 2 wins. You're tapped. What did they name? They named Spirits. Okay, Advanced Spirits. We beat them before. Volcanic Spites might be okay. Pending. Flash Spirit, Rattle Chains. And before that takes effect, I'll just kill it, and probably don't need Silver Scrutiny. These are all just spirit killing spells, so those will keep. Spire Bluff, definitely getting played next turn. That's right, opponent 2 can play at instant speed. Make disappear is great. You got another spirit? You got spirit? Yes, you do. I might use Volcanic Sprite to Volcanic Sprite. I think we've all been there. The sprite that's. Do we want a treasure token here? We can. I think we need to loot for. A Soul Guide Lantern, probably not going to be helpful. And then, do we lose another Prismari command? Or these make disappears going to be increasingly less helpful? I think next turn we make 2 1/1s with Sokenzen and the Stormcarved Coast. So, yeah, alright. Let's see. May regret not putting the Prismari in the graveyard. Fire Bluff. Kanala. Pass the turn. Oh, what's that, opponent? You're not casting a creature anymore? Spectral Sailor resolves. Main turn Spectral Sailor. Invasion of Kaladeshi. Well, let's see if they want to try to flash something in here when we attack. They're not falling for that. Volcanic Spite. Can't have that sitting around drawing cards. There's the Spell Queller. Okay, so we'll counter the Spell Queller. And we'll put Invasion of Kaladesh into the library. Land. And this is going to always be tapped, so I may as well do that. Supreme Phantom. Supreme Phantom. Okay. They're tapped out. So let's draw 2 and let's make a treasure. Dealing the 2 damage is not going to do that much for us, is it? Well, no. Discard 2. Those 2 lands. Let's impulse, see if we can find anything worthwhile. Mirex, I guess? We played a land yet this turn? No. No attacks. Mausoleum Wanderer. That's annoying. So now we have to have 3 mana up at all times for our spells. Okay. So 4 plus 3. We do have it without playing Otawara. Let's go for it. Moment of truth here. Spell Queller. We're almost dead in the air, aren't we? I guess next turn we'll wait for an attack and bounce the Spell Queller and hope that it goes through here. One more chance! So if we bounce it, they can just replay it, right? Here they come. But then they just spell call it again. Oh, man. Just didn't quite have the mana. So close. Okay, well, when I tested this on my phone, it was winning at least half the time, so I thought it would do better, but I've actually built... We're 2-7 for a 22% win rate with the playing that I did yesterday, but I rebuilt the deck, so let me show you the new deck list. And again, testing okay on my phone, but I don't have time to play it out some more today. So I'm going to post this, get your feedback, and maybe record another version soon. So check this out here. This is where I'm at currently. We've got just one Moonsnare prototype, one Satyr's Cunning still, and I switched in a Memory Deluge. So both of those can get milled over if we hit mill decks to get some value. Can also be discarded to 3 of Fable of the Mirror Breaker. So now we have some enchantments in the deck. I got 1 of Sweltering Suns, which we can use Impulse or Atraxa to find if we need to do a board wipe. Also got 1 of for a Planeswalker now in the deck. Chandra, great hit off of Atraxa, great against the control decks. Down to 1 Prismari Command, and got 2 impulses. Maybe want to go back up more impulses. I feel like the deck was a bit more consistent when I had more impulses in it, but that's the deck. Volcanic Spite coming in handy very much in my testing, because I, for some reason, seem to always draw Atraxa. I even had an opening hand with 2 Atraxas earlier this morning. So that is the deck. Thanks for joining me here in the attic. I've been Mana Dad, reminding you that Magic is a game so fun, even dads can enjoy it. Adios.